follow-up from last week. We knew this was happening. We were all excited about Ewan McGregor. We're all fans of Ewan McGregor, of course, Obi-Wan Kenobi. He's our Obi-Wan. And got the Hollywood treatment with a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. You would think somebody like Ewan McGregor, that's already happened for him, but nope. It all happened last week. And of all people, to help bring in the occasion, celebrate with him, his on-screen and off-screen protege, his Padawan, Hayden Christensen there. And Jim, we've been chronicling this, as we call it, Jedi bromance for a long time. And, of course, their reunion with the Obi-Wan Kenobi series and Ewan's occasional appearances at celebrations and fan conventions and things like that, along with Hayden. They're interacting a heck of a lot more, but clearly these guys are very, very close and think very, very highly and well of one another.
Oh, absolutely. And Hayden Christensen was among a couple of speakers that were there for the ceremony as Ewan McGregor received his Hollywood Walk of Fame star.
When I think about Ewan, I think about the person that he is. And a lot of stories come to mind, but I often think about the first time that I met you. And we were both in Australia many moons ago, getting ready to do Star Wars Episode 2. And I was at the studio where we were going to be filming, and the producer was taking me around, showing me some things. And then he was going to go take me to meet Ewan for the first time. And, I was so excited. I was already such a huge fan of his. And so anyways, I walk into this room where I'm told Ewan's going to be. And before I can even put eyes on him, I hear his voice. And he exclaims my name with more enthusiasm than I think I'd ever heard it spoken with before. And I turn and I see him, and then he's coming at me, and he comes and just gives me the biggest hug, like just the most disarmingly warm embrace. And we start chatting, and he's just the nicest person. He's telling me how excited he is to be working together and how much fun we're going to have doing our lightsaber training, and he's just beyond kind to me. And it was immediately apparent to me that I was meeting someone truly special, and not just as an actor, but as a person, and that I was meeting a friend. A friend who would later go on to chop off both of my legs and leave me for dead on the side of a volcano, but I guess I kind of had that coming.
He had it coming.
He had it coming. He had it coming. Yeah, wow. That's great. I mean, you think about, Jim, if I tell you what, if I ever get a star on the Walk of Fame, I want you to be the guy that gets to induct me. We were talking about this last week about, is this an induction? I don't know what it is, a commemoration, but it feels kind of like an induction in a way.
Yeah. Well, that's really kind of you, Jason.
Fame, I guess, right? In a way.
I think maybe someday you will get that star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. And it would be an honor for me to be there at the ceremony and say kind things about you. And when I get my star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, well, naturally, I would want Pete Nadel there to be there to say kind words about me.
Well, that's a deep cut these days. That's a deep. You know what though? I honestly look. I'll be satisfied if we can just have a little display. Someday there's going to be a podcast Hall of Fame. It's going to happen at some point. It's going to, and I'll just be happy to have just a little glass case. Maybe with this microphone, and Jim, maybe your microphone or your headphones or something just in there. I think that would be nice.
Could happen when we're in our 90s. Whoa. And they'd be like, ladies and gentlemen, the longevity award goes to. Can you believe these two guys are still talking about Star Wars? I
don't want to be the Frankie Valley of podcasting. If you've seen any of those viral videos of old Frankie, man. Wow, talk about Weekend at Bernie's. Dang.
We were sharing them at Fan Expo Chicago with Baby Belushi, and
Is that right?
The commentary was priceless.
But I mean, God bless his cotton socks, the great Frankie Valli. But man, oh man, so you don't want to overstay your welcome, but certainly Ewan McGregor hasn't overstayed his. And but it's just fun for us as Star Wars fans. It's a kick, to think about the prequel trilogy and the drama surrounding it, the drama surrounding the character of Anakin Skywalker as he unfolded with two different actors across that trilogy, and then all these years later to see them loved and embraced, and see the friendship between the two of them. Is really special. I mean, Ewan's done a lot of big projects, and he's been a working actor for a long time and worked with a lot of big stars. Not to take anything away from Hayden Christensen, I love Hayden, but Hayden hasn't had the career of a Renee Zellweger or some of these other actors. You think about the long list of actors and actresses that that Ewan has been with in movies, but the fact that he chose Hayden to be the guy to get up there and give him this or recommend Hayden at some point. It was, I don't know how the behind the scenes works, but I just think it's awesome that it was Hayden. Are you? A
little bit. Yeah, I know that Lucasfilm and Disney did a lot to sponsor this kind of event.
I see. Okay, so this was maybe orchestrated a bit. And
maybe
used
a little bit, but I mean, the friendship between the two guys is very apparent and very obvious. It's very palpable. So you'll hear in this next clip where Hayden continues talking about Ewan, and he focuses specifically on what Ewan McGregor brought to the role of Obi-Wan Kenobi, a role that, I mean, those are big shoes to fill. Sir Alec Guinness, and a very iconic performance in the original Star Wars. Well, now Ewan McGregor is playing a young version of him, and it seemed to be accepted by fans and critics alike, just really amplifying the great talent of Ewan McGregor. So Hayden talks a little bit about what Ewan brings to the role.
But I do want to just talk for a moment about Ewan's work in Star Wars and his iconic performance as Obi-Wan Kenobi. It really is just a masterclass in great acting, and to watch him embody this character, it's like watching magic, and the best kind of magic, not the kind that involves any like trickery or sleight of hand, but the kind that really makes you believe in something bigger, because he wasn't just playing Obi-Wan, he was Obi-Wan. I mean, he is Obi-Wan. And I really hope we get more Obi-Wan, because this man is just Star Wars gold. But, he so perfectly brought all of the sort of qualities that we knew about the character while imbuing the role with his own depth and emotion, and thus creating something that was bigger than the sum of its parts. And it was just a remarkable feat, and I was just in awe the entire time. So, my friend Ewan, I want to thank you for being the best Jedi Master that anyone could have ever hoped for. And you always had my back, and I thank you for that. And I'm just so happy to get to be here with you right now, and it's been an honor and a thrill to get to work with you and swing a lightsaber with you, and more than all of it, call you my friend. Yeah. I love you, brother. I love you too.
Your bromance.
Look at that. Look at that. Look at those two. Get a room, you guys. Get a room.
It's nice. I like it.
It's wonderful. And it's gosh, you think about 2002, wow, 23 years ago. 23 years ago, these guys debuted together as Anakin and Obi-Wan, and I still never forget that feeling of seeing them in that elevator shaft, riding up into Padme's apartment, you're sweating, all of that. It was like, okay, wow, we're finally seeing Anakin and Obi-Wan together. I mean, not that Jake Lloyd, but he was a kid. That's not what I didn't spend, all those years from 1983 to 1999 or 2002 thinking about Obi-Wan with an 8-year-old Anakin. I thought of them as these swashbuckling Jedi Knights, making the world safe, making the galaxy safe, and all of that. So that scene when you first see the two of them together, I'll always think very fondly about that, because it's like, wow, I've been fantasizing about this for a long time.
And I think Ewan McGregor has been fantasizing about a Kenobi season 2. And we heard Hayden drop out a little bit of, lobbying, throwing it out there, certainly should come back. I am fully convinced at this point that Lucasfilm has a Kenobi project in development right now as we speak. I don't,
really?
Yes, I'm fully convinced of that right now. As a result of this appearance at the Hollywood Walk of Fame and Hayden giving it a shout out like that. And sheer promotion of Ewan McGregor's attachment to the character, contributions to Star Wars. It's all adding up to me. I bet before the year is over, or early 2025 at the latest, we'll be getting confirmation of Kenobi season 2. I mean, they gotta be stupid not to do it.
I got a Blu-ray or a 4K box set in here that says that it's the complete series.
Well, it maybe they'll give it a different name. Maybe they won't call it Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Maybe they'll call it, I don't know,
Destiny of the Force.
Yeah, something like that. The Hermit Jedi.
The Hermit Jedi.
Yeah, I know that doesn't really fire me
who
up.
cares what the packaging on the disc says?
Exactly.
They don't need to be beholden to that.
Exactly. But, so Ewan finally got behind the podium, stepped up to the microphone, and he thanked the crowd and pointed out he has a very famous Star Wars neighbor right next to his star.
I want to thank everybody, all of you, for coming today. I had absolutely no idea what it would feel like or what it would mean, but it's meaning a great deal, and it feels very, very nice and very, feel very touched by the whole thing. I'm so moved that I'm close to my old friend Carrie Fisher on the pavement here. That means a great deal to me too.
So oh boy. Well, I hope he knows what it's like to live next to Carrie. It gets wild, man. It gets
Be careful what you wish for. So, I mean, but that's pretty cool. So if you're
very cool
in Hollywood and you're checking out the Walk of Fame, and you're a Star Wars fan, you'll find it very easy to find both Carrie Fisher and Ewan McGregor right next to
that's something I've never done. I've only been in L.A., Hollywood twice, once for a celebration and then once for the Rogue One premiere with you, Jimmy Mack. So I've never, that was a world. Remember going in for that Rogue One premiere?
Sure.
I mean, it was in and out, man. It was fly in, fly out. But it was so much fun. We stayed at Kyle's house, and but I've never had the chance to like do it up, all the touristy stuff in Hollywood and see the Man's Chinese Theater and the Hollywood Walk of Fame. I'd love to do that sometime. I want to go see the footprints, all of that.
Yeah. It's fun to take a hike through Hollywood. I used to work there. I used to live right outside Hollywood in Toluca Lake, and I worked in downtown Hollywood at Highland and Yucca, and I'm very familiar with the Walk of Fame. And when I was working there, it was in the early 90s, and Hollywood wasn't the easiest place to walk. Let's just say a lot of colorful characters out on the sidewalks and stuff. Once they built that Dolby Theater, the whole neighborhood really rose up to a whole different level. But before that, Hollywood was a dicey place, to say the least. Yeah, it sure was when I was there in the 90s. And let me tell you, I had a lot of fun there. So, but let's just wrap up the Ewan McGregor Hollywood Walk of Fame highlights with Ewan professing his love for the occupation of acting and his love for film in general.
I can't believe it's been my home here since 2008, Los Angeles, but longer than that, really, because I dreamt of it. I dreamt of the movies, and I'm so blessed to be in them. I don't feel any differently about being in them than I did when I was first starting out. I used to sit and watch when I was a child on a Sunday or Saturday afternoon with my chin propped up on my elbows, and I hunger for old Hollywood movies of the 40s and the 30s and British movies, Ealing comedies, just anything. All these, I wanted movies in my life more than I wanted kids shows or anything like that from a really young age. And I'm just so happy to be part of the world. I'm happy to be a creative person, happy to be an artist, and I love it very much, and I love you all very much too. Okay.
All right. Well, yeah, Ewan McGregor, interesting. You know, he does have that movie star quality. You know, that's not true of just any actor that's in film. It's a special something, and I feel like Ewan McGregor has it. And I think a lot of times it's in those performers, those actors that really have a passion for the whole idea of making movies. They're kind of grounded in classic cinema and things like that. I think what happens is that they know what movie stars meant to them as kids growing up, and I think they sort of embody that. It's so different than that sort of pretentious thing that you hear, you know, actors talking about the craft, you know, stuff like that. I like when actors get up and they talk about making movies or making theater and doing that, and don't take themselves too serious. Leave the craft talk for your college class. I don't want to hear about the craft.
Well, despite his worldwide fame and long career at this point, Ewan comes off as a guy who really has his feet on the ground.
Yeah,
and he's not some pretentious Hollywood, you know what.
Yeah,
he definitely keeps his entire persona steeped in reality and doesn't forget that. And on top of that, he's one of the coolest dudes around. Extremely good-looking guy, and
how does he keep up the youth? He looks no different than he did 20 years ago. It's incredible. What is this guy doing?
Like I say, he's keeping his feet on the ground.
I
He's
guess.
not getting sucked up by all the pretentious self-indulgence that stardom provides.
Yeah.
That's the easy path. That's the dark side. He walks on the light side. And he just seems like a really great guy. And like I said, he's got the acting chops to back it all up. So that's Ewan McGregor. And I'm happy we were able to share those highlights with our audience of a thing that I think it was an achievement for Ewan. I don't think the honor was anything that he shrugged off. I think he really appreciated the appreciation that was being shown toward him and his career.